In a busy week, Kurt Schlichter and I have a lot to discuss, from immigration to Nancy Pelosi to Peter Fonda to remembering the late, great Charles Krauthammer. So much went on this week. Actually, yesterday, things were happening about every 5 minutes. Here to help me unpack this crazy week, fellow rebel, trial lawyer extraordinaire, U.S. Army Colonel retired, or Colonel U.S. Army retired, Kurt Schlichter. Kurt, I don't know if you watched the rally, the Trump rally in Duluth a couple of nights ago. Duluth, Minnesota. Trump was on fire. This is a blue-collar town. It looked like a Rolling Stones concert. People were cheering, jumping out of their seats, bouncing up and down, standing ovation. All that was missing were the lights were down and people were waving their lighters around. I mean, how does this guy lose?
Play free bird.
Play free bird. How does he lose in 2020? I don't see it happening. That's Wisconsin. Minnesota, rather.
There's this giant appetite out there, John, for somebody who wants to stand up for normal Americans.
Right.
Which leads me into my book, Militant Normals, which everybody should go buy, and you still owe me a blurb on. Anyway.
You got a blurb whenever you want. Wait, is the book out already?
No, it's not until October.
Exactly. Rumor has it that certain select people are helping you vet the cover for your book.
Yeah. We'll talk offline. Anyway, look, there's this huge appetite for someone who stands up for us. And when you get idiots like Peter Fonda or Wanda Sykes or all the rest of them, coming on there and attacking, the guy who's the symbol. He's become the avatar of normal Americans, which is bizarre. Even Trump pointed out last night, I'm this billionaire, man, and you guys are all responding to me. But facts are facts. So when they're attacking Trump, normal people are seeing it, and normal people are tired of it.
You know what's interesting? Everybody's telling us, well, the conversation in living rooms and at kitchen tables and in diners and water coolers is immigration.
What conversation?
Right. But you talk to normal Americans and it's the economy, right? So my takeaway from the other night in Duluth over Minnesota was Trump asked America, trust me on the economy. They trusted him, and you know what? The bet paid off, right?
He delivered.
You weren't a Trump guy. You're a convert.
I was not.
You're a convert.
I was a convert by tax.
The bet paid off. So he's telling them again, trust me again. And they're saying, what do we got to lose? He's the first guy who's paid off. He's the first bet who's paid off.
He's the guy who actually come through. I mean, you look at the normal Republicans, and they're just not talking to or about or taking the side of normal folks.
Right.
People out there are hurting. They're under fire from the culture. And what does, Jeb, ! have to say? Well, you're being uppity. Oh my, clutch. He doesn't provide an answer. He's just another voice going tisk, tisk, tisk. You're terrible. We know we're not terrible.
Go to Jeb for a second, right? Because his pettiness is now costing his son. So his son, George P. Bush, is running for Texas Land Commissioner.
Yeah.
Pretty significant statewide office in Texas.
That's a big job there.
Big job, very powerful, very similar to the Ag Commissioner here in Florida. People don't think much of the Agriculture Commissioner. Well, in a state like Florida, it's a cabinet-level appointee lateral to the Attorney General. No, I'm sorry. It's elected, not an appointee. My mistake. It's an elected cabinet position lateral to the Attorney General. Well, Don Jr., despite the dads not getting along, Donald Trump Jr. likes George P. Bush. Apparently, he's a very likable guy. He was going to go and he was going to campaign for him. But he's pulled out because Jeb Bush won't stop attacking Donald Trump. So this guy is so unhinged that he's now putting his own personal pettiness in front of his son's political career.
How petty are these guys?
Right.
I mean, they are just the worst. And they get more liberal every day. So now suddenly the true conservative position is catch and release. When did that happen? Wow. When did it happen that you don't separate criminals from their children? I was unaware that this was a problem until last week.
It's a thing now. Well, but
it's a thing.
But Pelosi is really doing what I think is an incredible job. I hope Nancy Pelosi lives to be 162 years old and stays in office as long.
At least 5 more years.
Yeah, because exactly. Because she's showing us exactly what the Democratic Party's about. It was never about keeping families together. This is about open borders. Open borders, zero sovereignty for the United States of America.
Exactly. Yeah, look, I'm out there with normal people occasionally, even though I'm a blue state trial lawyer. Hey-o. And no one is talking about this. I mean, I was out, whether it's at the gym, which, yes, I do go to, or it is, a suburban party like I was at, a kid's graduation party yesterday, and I'm with a bunch of suburban moms and dads. No one was talking about immigration. I don't mean a few people. I don't mean a few hints about it. I mean zero. No one. Nothing. This is a Washington, D.C. firestorm, and all the cowardly Republicans who have infested Washington and who think Washington has its fingers on the pulse of America, when in reality, Washington has its fingers on the pulse of Washington. They're all freaking out. And out here, we're like, people are, to the extent they're thinking about it at all, and they're not really talking about it, but they're like, okay, well, yeah, if I were arrested for a crime, I'd be separated from my kids too. I don't understand. I assume my kids would be upset too. Why do foreigners get special rights? I don't understand.
Kurt, last week I had a meeting in Miami, a dinner meeting with some old friends of mine, and we were in an area, Miami Brickell. I used to live there. It's downtown Miami, the banking district. Nice area. I mean, very expensive. Still large South American population, large Cuban population in Miami. And I was in a restaurant I used to go to all the time. We had a table at the bar area. And there was a large table of Cuban-American guy, all born in Miami, but they had the Miami accent. And a couple of people at the bar. Ran into my old neighbor and a Cuban guy. And there was one guy at the bar. Trump comes on, an older guy, and he, gives Trump a smirk. And he goes, F this guy, whatever. And every Cuban in the place lost their minds on this guy. They're like, you don't talk about the president like that. We came here legally. He's doing it right. We look at our portfolios. We're doing it. I mean, his support among the Hispanic community in South Florida, if I'm using that anecdotal incident as a gauge, is skyrocketing.
Oh,
immigrate. Your wife, your wife is Cuban.
Well, look, the in-laws were here a couple weeks ago, and they were not big Trump guys because they're very religious and they're very decent people. And, let's face it, sometimes Trump shocks the squares.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, Trump's not perfect, but he's on our side. He doesn't hate us. You look at these people, you ICE guys are the new Gestapo.
I know.
Well,
exactly.
When a guy like you or me looks at a nice guy, I think that could be me. I wore a uniform. I carried a gun.
That's right. That's right.
I did that. You did too. And I think a lot of folks identify with those. And when you start saying a guy who's just enforcing the law that our legislature passed, we do have a Democratic Republic. And then you're calling him a Nazi for that? I don't think it resonates. I mean, it may do real well on college campuses or CNN studios, but among normal people, they're like, wait a minute, I don't get it. You talk about, this Corey Lewandowski thing. This is how bad it is. It got me defending Corey freaking Lewandowski. But, when he went, wah, wah, the Down syndrome kid being brought in and he's been separated, wah, wah, just kind of contemptuous. And all I could think of was, well, I'm no fan of Corey. I got my own beefs with that guy. But my big only question is, what kind of person brings a kid with Down syndrome across a border through a desert?
Through a desert with rattlesnakes and coyotes, real coyotes and smuggling coyotes.
What the hell are you thinking? I'm not blaming the cops for doing their job.
No.
And what am I supposed to do? Let him go because he's a kid? Then doesn't that kind of reward it? If you send your kid to his room for, I don't know, throwing a ball through the window, are you separating children from their families? Are you caging them?
Oh,
I don't understand.
Kurt, it's so ridiculous. I talked about it. How many kids? I mean, I don't say this in a cavalier way. I don't say this lightly. You know how many times I was forced when I was with NYPD to remove kids from their parents and bring them to DCFS? I mean, I can't tell you, every domestic you walk into, that is a reality. If both parents are going to jail, you don't know what you're walking in. You don't know what you're walking through the door to see. You got to bring this kid. It's heartbreaking. Nobody wants to do it, but
nobody wants to do that. But what do you? I mean, what are you supposed to do? Well, you beat the hell out of your wife, but little Susie seems sad. You can stay here. God knows what you'll do to little Susie.
Or you got to take both parents. You got to take both parents to jail. Hey, little Susie, here's a bottle of water and a Happy Meal. You'll be okay. They'll be back in a couple.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I'll send somebody around.
Yeah, I'll send somebody around. Just watch.
Got somebody you can call?
Exactly. Here you go, kid. Here's a bottle of water and a Camelback. Nicaragua's that way, about 3,000 miles. See you later.
It's
ridiculous.
I think Trump, when I first heard he signed the executive order, I wasn't thrilled. I was like, I don't know if backing down's the right thing. But he really didn't back down. He said, okay, we'll just keep them together, but we're not catching and releasing. We're just not doing that.
Right.
Take me on. And then of course, they kept freaking out. And, normal people were like, okay, well, they're going to keep them together now. Okay, well, why is this still a problem?
I want to bring you these interviews pretty much every day if I can. I want to bring you Kurt at the end of every week so we can recap. So you got to help me keep doing that by subscribing to our premium service at www.therebel.media/goes. Go to the App Store, download the outstanding Rebel app. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You have a great, great weekend. I'll be back with you on Monday.